Yeah, so now we are filming.
We're filming.
We're good to go. And
This thing's on. Hello?
Oh, it's on, kid.
Word.
And Brendan, it is a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, sir.
This is my friend Brendan Marr here.
Hello.
And so you just came back from Iceland.
I did.
And I don't know if people have ever been to Iceland. I've never been. I don't even know like what they got there.
Yeah.
But if you want to explain some things, because
They got
I'm
more than you
interested.
think. Like, it's not some, like, you know, it's not in the middle of nowhere. Like,
That's
they
what,
got,
because that's what I think of when I think about it. I think
that's the thing.
scenery.
Like, people who don't know their geography, right? They might
Yeah.
think, like, Greenland. Oh, it's like the nice one. Iceland, that's like the icy one. But, like, yeah, exactly. Like, back in the day, Leif Erikson, when he, like, discovered that crap, he was trying to trick everyone, like, oh, don't come here. Like, he wanted it for himself. He just wanted to chill. So
Yeah.
he didn't want anyone bothering him. He's like, yeah, this is Iceland. Like, don't even bother. It sucks here. Go to Greenland.
That's so like.
Historical prank.
Like that's just like that's one of those cool things. Like that's stuff that I like to know. Like
Yeah.
that's the type of like we were just talking about
Just
that.
little
before.
fun facts.
Like,
Like
that's like
that.
little fun things. Like, but that's like it's a little fun fact, but that just changes the entire name of like countries.
For years. For
You know what I mean? For like like
centuries,
that's,
whatever.
That's Iceland. Like, and we think of and when you think of Iceland, you might think of ice, but like it's beautiful.
It's actually, yeah, mad nice.
And then Greenland is
literally just a giant, like,
ice block.
Yeah, literally just
Like,
a block
that's
of ice.
hilarious.
Like, there's nothing there.
And it was just to divert people, right? It was just like oh,
I don't know why.
wanna
I
be
think
here.
that's
I
my
need-
theory.
I want that. I think that's how it went. Like it was like in order to get people, they were like, all right, like they're on the Greenland, and I think Greenland is obviously the one that has all ice, and they were like, all right, we're gonna go
there.
to Greenland, and they'd see it, and it was like all this massive diversion, and it ends up being history, and it's like real now. Like it's just funny how that works.
Yeah.
But what else did they have there?
I mean, just, like, the geography alone is just insane because, like, it's one of, like, the few places on the Earth where, like, the North American plate and, like, the Eurasian plate, like, that's where, like, they collide or whatever.
Okay.
And that's what caused, like, Iceland to even form, like, however many years ago.
Yeah.
Millions of years.
Okay.
And, like, just because that, like, literally you can't go, like, 5 feet without seeing, like, the biggest mountain you've ever seen, you know what I mean?
Like that's so cool. Like I like cool things.
Like, at 360 degrees, like, there's gonna be a mountain somewhere. There's gonna be a glacier. There's gonna be, like, crazy shit. Like, it's just...
When I heard you and Haley were
it's
going,
unreal.
I was like, all right, well, this is sick. You guys better take, like, mad pictures. Because, like, even just going, like, when I drive to, like, New Hampshire, even just seeing,
Even
like,
there, it's like...
a couple mountains,
Yeah.
and I just, like, thing I always talk about is the trees. Like, there's so many
That's the one thing you'd be
There's so many
surprised. There's
trees.
no trees in Iceland.
like, that in itself is, like...
It's kind of crazy. Like, when
It's
I
wild.
got there, like, right when we got off the plane, we were taking a bus to the city because the airport's a little bit outside the capital,
Yeah.
Reykjavik. And I was like, this place is, like, so weird. Like, I can't put my finger on it. Like, why is it, like, just, like, odd right now? Obviously, it's a new country, but, like, I finally clicked, like, 15 minutes into the ride. Like, there's not a single tree in sight. There's no trees there. Like, they're not
Why?
native.
Do you know why?
I guess just, I don't know. I mean, seeds can't swim, so I'm guessing, like, yeah, there's just
Hey, that's
no trees got taken there from, like, other places, and they never grew. Like, there's man-made trees nowadays,
Yeah.
but, like, you can tell, like, they're all planted in rows. Like,
Yeah,
they're
like,
all, like,
together
you can
in
tell, like,
rows.
oh, okay, those were planted by humans.
Yeah,
like, that's
similar
not...
size and, you know, like...
But it kind of gives it its own vibe because, like, you can't tell how far... Like, we take trees for granted. Like, I don't know, it kind of gives you, like... It blocks your vision.
Yeah.
When you can see for miles and miles because there's nothing, like, obstructing your view, it, like, makes everything just, like... Just the views are insane.
Yeah, because also there's, like, less, like, light pollution, too, so you can really see, like, everything.
Yeah, that's the thing,
When
though.
you look up, you
'cause
see... you know.
unfortunately, we went during the summer. Not unfortunately, because obviously it's brick as hell during the winter.
Yeah, right.
But because it's so close to the Arctic Circle, the sun never sets.
Oh, you were in one of those.
I didn't see a
like
single
that.
star when I was there. There was no
Seriously?
night. Yeah, there was nothing. So, like, think like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock these days, like when it starts getting a little bit dark, but it's still basically like bright out. That's like the limit. That's how dark it would get throughout the
How'd you fall
entire day.
asleep?
Stuff.
Because you slept in the van, too.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the van didn't have like, the van didn't have great like lighting, like curtains or whatever. So like it was just even with the curtains closed, it was still like you might as well have had a nightlight on.
Yeah,
like,
it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, you needed a sleep mask for sure.
Did
Like
you
I'm
have
not
one?
one of those guys, you know, wears a sleep mask. Like that's some Hollywood crap, like people doing like TV shows. Like I never even thought like people actually did that. But nah, you need them.
You need one there.
You need one there. You
I
won't fall asleep.
I can fall asleep in light and sound. Like I have no problem falling asleep.
That's the thing. Like if you're tired, you'll fall asleep. But it's like
I have a problem
who wants
falling
to do
asleep in
that?
general. Like it could be pitch black with like no sensory auditory like simulation. I still won't fall asleep for 3 hours. Or it could be light with some TV show on, and I could fall asleep in 3 hours. It's the same thing either way. My body just like sleeps when it wants to.
The thing is though, like your body's what's it called, like the circadian rhythm or whatever, like your day-night cycle.
Yeah.
It gets like goes haywire because like your brain like thinks like, okay, it's getting late, like it should be getting dark right now. Never gets dark. It's just kind of.
Isn't that weird? Like our brain just like fires off stuff. Like
it was honestly kind of lit though because like here at night like or here when it's getting dark, it's like getting 9 o'clock in the summer. It usually gets dark maybe like you're kind of like subconsciously thinking like, okay, it's like time to wind down. The day's ending because it never gets dark there. Like there was a couple nights like we would stay up till like 1 a.m. and I would like feel like it was 2 p.m. Like I was still ready to go. You know what I mean?
So weird. And then like
I wasn't even
when you got tired, did you like crash?
Yeah, like we would get
like if it hit you, it hit you.
They were usually pretty long days, like 7 a.m. to like 1 a.m. every day. You know what I mean? You're trying to squeeze as much action out of the trip.
So what was the main city you said?
Reykjavik. It's the capital. It's honestly not that big. It's only like biggest city in the island, but it's only like 100K people.
Oh, word. Okay,
but it feels more like a city than like even Boston does. I don't know why, but like I guess because they like pool all their resources into that like one major city, like it just felt like they just had everything like right. You know what I mean?
What did you like go see? Well,
in the city, like first of all, their roads. You'd think like the roads here in Medford, they're fucking crap, dude.
Yeah, they are.
And everyone's excuse like, oh, it snows here, like the potholes. You know what I mean? Like that's what caused the potholes. Yeah. I'll never believe that again. Because I know for a fact 7, 8, 9 months out of the year, it's fucking covered in snow. There wasn't a single pothole. I didn't see any. The streets were literally like smooth as a baby's bottom.
Smooth as a baby's bottom. Hey, it took priority.
And I was just impressed because, like I said, like I know, like I don't know what they put in their asphalt. I don't know what they like. I don't know what they do with this concrete, but like literally, this shit was. It was, I don't know, so well kept. I had a lot of respect.
The roads was the most.
It was
the
impressive,
most exciting part of the trip.
Because you take that shit for granted, like here in like Boston. You know, Boston's known to be like the worst city in the world to drive in.
Yeah. A ton of potholes, ton of just like cracks, garbage, construction, like always.
Everything. Like there, it was like so quiet and peaceful, and like there was like cities were bustling, people were on the sidewalks and stuff, having a good time.
That's cool. Didn't you go to a penis museum?
Oh, the penis museum, yeah. We didn't even like put that in the plan. Like we just walked by it, and I was like, its a full name is the Phallological Museum, right? Which is like a fancy name for dicks.
Yeah, it's the dicks museum.
And like I didn't even realize like that it was a thing. Like we just saw like a sign for it, and I was like, hold up, like what is this shit? What is this shit? And yeah, we go in. There's a giant wooden cock. Like I wish I took a picture of it. It was literally like. The glass windows right out the front, and they kind of like hide it. Like there's not just penises like right out the gate, but like looking inside, you can see like just it must have been a tree trunk that they found, and like it just like resembled a penis.
Looks like,
and they're like, yeah, this is a good like ornament.
Too? Or was it just the?
There was like a stump.
Was it focused on the shaft, or was the
like,
whole place about the
it was like
balls too?
A little bit of both. Like
a little bit of both.
They didn't shy away from the balls.
They didn't shy away.
But
I saw some pictures. I was dying. It was like you like standing next to like a
sperm whale penis. Yeah, you take it for granted. Like I don't.
You take it for granted.
Like how those things. I don't know. Like it kind of makes sense because a whale.
They're huge.
They're huge, right? Like how else are they gonna penetrate? I don't want to get into like
another whale. Whale sex is kind of.
Yeah, like I don't even know how they do it. I think they just kind of like clap together.
That ain't PG, you know.
I don't want to get into it too much.
Talk about whale sex too often.
But it really puts it in perspective. Like
size
matters.
Size matters, yeah, right. Yeah. No, but
whales
are huge. Dude.
Yeah,
like whale.
You get a micro. Whale. If a whale has a micro penis, dude, like it's game over.
And it's still like the size like.
It's still like the length of my arm at least.
That's
like,
crazy.
That would be like too tiny.
You think whales can have micro penis?
I hope not.
I hope not. We need those.
They're majestic creatures.
We need them to reproduce.
Because they love whales there as well. There's actually, they call it the whale watching capital of Iceland. This place called Húsavík. We went to a whale museum there. Crazy. I've never seen a whale in person, but they had like full-sized like blue whale skeleton, and this thing was probably like the size of a school bus, probably bigger.
Yeah, like some of them.
And that thing it was just a skeleton. Like you didn't even get to see like the fat and whatever skin on top of it.
Long. Some of them can be like real
ridiculously like big.
Like basically like. You stand up like a house.
I don't know if you knew this, but like this is a crazy fact I kind of learned. They're the biggest animals ever. to
Yeah,
exist.
I did. Yeah, that's I think, and that
Not
like,
even like people think like oh like
T-Rex,
Stegosaurus or whatever like it's the biggest. Yeah,
No,
not
sure.
even close, dude. Like
they're the biggest things that's ever existed.
ever. Not even just like today, like ever.
Like that's insanity. I knew that because I like animals and stuff like that. I like knowing weird shit. So like that's the biggest animal I knew. And like there's another. Oh, did you ever? I don't know what it's called. There's this like there's this like belief out there that there was this massive, like the size of a jumbo jet, like plane, like animal with like a wingspan of like 70 or like whatever it was, 70 feet. And
It's like a
stand
bird?
20 feet, and it flew. Like it was, and it's like supposed to be the most massive like airborne creature ever.
That sounds insane.
And that's like something that like has been recently not confirmed by any means. I'm pretty sure it's like most people would say it's not true, but I want to believe it so bad.
What I want really badly is like this is completely off the topic of Iceland, but one of those like ancient animals, like to be real.
Like
I feel like
the chupacabra or something like that. Is that what you're talking about?
I feel like the only like way it could be is if it was something deep in the ocean, because like we kind of got like everything on land kind of seen.
The giant squid's real.
That's what I mean, like, but like stuff even like crazier than that. Like we know about giant squids, but what if there's like a couple megalodons left? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so deep or
like
something,
real
like, I don't know.
deep. You know, because I'm thinking, well, what's it called? Like alligators and
Like there's a couple
sharks, they
species.
live like the like what's it called? The extinction of the dinosaurs.
They've been around for stupid long.
They just like we're like let's go underwater.
That's what I mean. Like they're like something like try to get away. Like some dinosaur evolved to like be underwater, mad deep and stuff. And like there's definitely animals down there that we've never even ran into because like first of all they're rare. Second of all they're like 10,000 feet deep. So like who's down there looking?
You ever see that picture of the alien looking thing that has like the long it has like the long appendages like 25 feet and it's like near like the ocean floor? You ever see it?
It's like a squid.
It's like it's a squid but it looks like an alien, dude. Like it dead ass looks like an alien.
That's
It's a squid. Like I don't know exactly what it is. I'm pulling it up here. I'm pulling it up. I might put it there. I might not. I might leave the people alone. I might put it right there on the thing though.
Is there a projector? Or are you gonna like green screen that in there?
Nah,
edit that.
I'll edit that in. You know, I'm learning how to edit and stuff. You know
drag and drop that.
Alien squid at bottom of ocean. That must work. Images. Alright, yeah. Look at this thing. What? Tell me.
That's not real. That's fake.
No, I'm dead serious.
That's faked.
Look at this thing, dude. Look at that.
That's like nightmare fuel.
It's nightmare fuel is right. These things are 25 feet. And so what it does is it drags them across the ground.
Like looking for stuff?
And it will like grab things and just slowly.
God.
This is a fly here. It will slowly like. What the? Get out of here, dude.
Thing, no?
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Fuck it. Oh.
I caught it.
No, it
just flew away. What a bitch. Anyway.
Wow.
But yeah, so they have like these 25 and they grab things on the bottom and they reel them up. They bring them up into like their little stomach and they just that's how they eat them.
Imagine like how that crab or like the lobster feels.
I know.
Like they think they're getting abducted or something.
They do.
Yeah.
Right.
Bring that up later.
Bring that up later. But yeah, back to the Iceland thing. So what was the language barrier? Was there any, or did they speak English?
Thankfully, like they do. Like most people speak their own language, Icelandic, and it's like legit ridiculous.
It just sounds.
It's
like
gobbledygook,
gibberish.
dude.
It's gobbledygook.
Yeah. It's like every word is like minimum like 4 or 5 syllables.
Like that's ridiculous.
There's no like the a, you know.
There is none of that.
What?
Or maybe
like,
or are you sure? Or
I'm saying like what's up, like
does it sound like
I don't want to be offensive to Icelandic
no, that's
people,
completely
but
fine.
It's
I don't think
it's
anybody
true.
from Iceland watches. So
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet.
One day.
Yeah.
But I mean,
once the DOD podcast goes global.
Once it goes global, blows up beyond proportion, then maybe.
Yeah,
no.
but thankfully everyone speaks English there. It's not a problem at all. I did meet one single guy who I don't think spoke English. He was a bus driver too. Kind of silly that he was in this job because he was a bus driver for the airport. Like he was doing the bus line that goes to the airport, like to the city. Like you think like that's like
need English.
That's the bus that's gonna have the most, you know, foreigners on it. This guy was like trying to like make me pay, and I'm like, dude, like, how much do I owe you? And he's like, he literally, I couldn't understand him. I just gave him like $1,000. I think he robbed me.
I think he robbed me.
Like I just gave him $1,000, and he was like, all right, go. I was like, all right.
Money's different. What's the money like?
Honestly, everything's
called,
a bit. It's called Krona, Krona or something like.
It's called Krona.
I just call it ISK because that's like the USD ISK. That's like the abbreviation.
All right.
But I think it's like Icelandic kroner or krona.
Okay.
One or the other. But do I have any actually? Hold up.
Oh, word! Don't tell me you have an Icelandic.
Oh no.
Did you bring any home? Though?
I did bring some home, but I think I had so many like bills. They're in my bed right now. But sorry about that.
It's okay.
It's kind of neat though. They got like their own historical guys on there, just like they got the Icelandic George Washington on there, whatever.
Do you know anything about them? Do you know who they are?
No clue. I mean, I'm not like.
I don't know anything about
just random
the
people.
Icelandic history. I don't really know.
I'm guessing like their prime minister from back in the day.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Who cares, dude? I'm sure like most people there don't even know. You know what I mean?
They have no idea. Like I do know who's on our dollar bills, but that's just because I looked it up one day. I was bored and I was like, I wonder why they're on the dollar. Wasn't there like a thing like Harriet Tubman was gonna be on the dollar, on like a $5 bill at some point?
I think so. I think that's like
starting. Abe's got the penny, dude. Like Abe's got that thing locked.
No, they're taking I think it was Andrew Jackson they're replacing.
He was a dink, wasn't he?
He was a dick, yeah.
But wasn't he good? Wasn't he one of those guys like, he's okay?
He's like he's a controversial figure in history.
Some people think he was like really, really good, but other people are like, listen, but he was kind of a dick.
Yeah. The Trail of Tears definitely was not a cool move. He made a bunch.
What was that?
It's like he just kicked a bunch of like Native Americans down like in the South right now. You don't really hear about Native Americans down south, but like they were there. You know what I mean? It's because like the Trail of Tears, he was basically like, all right, this is American land now. Like, you got to take a hike.
Take a hike.
Like, literally, like, force them to take a hike. And, like,
literally.
Like, mad people died and stuff because, like, they literally just had to go west. Like, don't even care. Like, leave your home. You got to get out of here. Kind of a dick move.
Yeah, extremely.
But yeah.
What would you have done? I mean, like, as the president, I feel like expanding.
I think the real dick move was, like, they had, like, treaties that, like, okay, you can have this land. Like, we're not going to fuck with you.
Yeah,
and then they just kind of, like, ripped them up and was like, yeah, forget it. That was the real dick move.
That's where the problem is. I guess, like, obviously, anybody,
like,
any move or
if it was one thing, like, you go to war with them and then take the land, like, that's history, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
you can't
millions of cases of that going on.
That.
Well, you can, but we'll not get into that.
You can feel bad, but, like, you can't change it.
Yeah,
so,
but,
like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, Andrew Jackson was a dick. Regardless, I don't know how he got into that.
So Harriet Tubman was gonna be on the 20.
I think they're actually gonna start rolling those out, honestly, pretty soon. I know it's still a thing.
All right, cool.
Maybe Trump like stopped it for a while. Yeah,
Trump was like,
I wouldn't be surprised. He probably was like, yeah, forget that. But I think it is still gonna happen.
He's probably like,
I'm for it, honestly.
I would love to have Harriet Tubman. Are you serious?
Could have
Tubman on the 20, dude. Andrew Jackson, I really don't like. I don't care about Andrew Jackson like whatsoever.
Too many dead presidents.
Tubman's
We gotta get
cool,
some like,
man.
yeah,
Tubman's like a cool like figure to have.
Or like Martin Luther King too. You know, what I mean?
Like just like what like Tubman was doing was like it's just I hate to call it cool because like. Obviously, it's like seems insensitive, but it's just like cool shit. Like, let's just go through the Underground Railroad and like going and freeing people and like going up and back and forth. Like, it's just like.
I wish I knew more about it, but
it's just cool. Like
risking everything.
It's just cool, and I like that. And I know the story a little bit better than Andrew the Jackass. I know a little better than that. Who's like, and he's like a dick. So like, and I have no attachment to it whatsoever. So he can see the door for all I care.
For real.
Same thing with like some who's on the 50.
Grant, I think.
Ulysses as Grant. He's okay.
I get respect for Grant.
I feel like Grant's a cool name, so he's cool.
He's got like a complicated guy though, because he's like, he was an alcoholic and shit, and like, but he also like kind of won the Civil War for like the Union and stuff.
We all got our vices.
I feel like that makes him a little cooler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's down to earth. Like,
he's
just a guy.
He's
you know
just
what
a
I mean?
dude with some problems that he overcame. I like that too.
Plus, back then, like people drank liquor like it was going out of style.
Like it was going out of style. Like it was water.
No, literally.
Crazy.
Like quite literally, yeah.
Wake up in the morning.
Because back then, like they didn't have water filtration, and they couldn't go down the store and get Poland Springs.
Isn't it crazy that like bottled water, like they did this to us?
Another thing in Iceland, they don't have bottled water.
Really? What do they got?
Tap water.
Oh, you just drink the tap.
I just think
What's
like the tap's good. First of all, the hot water. Don't drink the hot water because it smells like legit farts. No, you're not even kidding. Like it smells like sulfur.
Really?
I think like.
What do they heat it with? Is that why?
No, I think like they get all their water from like underground because like it's so many like hot springs and whatever like pure natural water coming up from the earth, but like along with it comes like a lot of minerals and stuff, and I think sulfur is like very common there, like in the
sulfur.
Yeah, that's what makes it smell.
Stuff. It literally smells like farts. Sulfur.
That's literally what is making the fart smell. Is the sulfur.
I had a sulfur rock upstairs for a long time.
Does it stink?
Yeah, we keep it in a box.
Dang.
But when you open up the box and inside the
it's like a fart in a
jar.
box.
It's in the box and in a package in another thing, and you
can still smell it.
And you open up the box, you smell it a little bit. Open up the first package, you're like, oh god, and you open up the next one, and then works like one of those like Yankee candles, like if you magazine scratch and sniff. It's like,
oh yeah.
And you're just like, like it smells
yucky.
Like dogs. It's but it's cool to have. I like that. Like, it's just an interesting like mineral that.
I feel like you could pull some good pranks with that.
Oh yeah. Like you know those like those stink bombs, fart bombs you can throw.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that, but like with sulfur. It's like but with God's creation. So what else did you do in Iceland?
Well, let me just say the cold water. I talked about the hot water. It smells like farts.
Hot water smells.
For the first like 3 days, we were like washing our hands with the hot water because it's like kind of cold there. Yeah. Not like freezing, but like it was like a little chilly.
Yeah, like 50s.
It's like I want to warm up. You know what I mean? Yeah, 50s.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to warm up, and I'm like, damn, like my hands smell like ass now. Like what the hell is this? Like, am I clean? Am I dirty? I don't even know anymore.
You got soap, like hand soap.
Yeah, big time. But it doesn't change the fact that the water smells like shit. The cold water is like legit nectar. I don't know why. The hot water smells like legit farts. The cold water is like, you can like, I don't know. I could drink it by the gallon. I love water. I'm a big water guy. I don't drink soda. I don't drink really anything but water, honestly, unless I'm like, you know, booze.
Yeah.
But yeah, the water there is amazing. Yeah. And they have no bottled water because they care about it.
So obviously you drink a lot of water. So you can tell if something's tap or not. Or
their tap is like, I mean, Boston area already has good taps, so like, you know, I already have high standards. So like me saying like, I've been to like places like down south, South Carolina, their tap water is legit like brown, dude. Like,
that's gross.
It's disgusting. Like no wonder like they all drink fucking whatever these things.
Water all day.
It's a shame though, cause like it's one use, it goes in the fucking landfill. Like goodbye.
I know. I
appreciate that.
It's like a scam.
I appreciate Iceland for that because they take care of the environment. I feel like cause them like I was saying, like their surroundings are so gorgeous. Like they kind of have like even like the people who don't really care. Yeah. Like they still kind of like are like, all right, I'm not gonna like muck this place up.
At least aware.
Like here in Medford, Massachusetts, like fuck it, nip bottle there, fucking throw a gum wrapper there. Like who gives a shit? Like it's ugly.
You just look out. Like you know, it's not really much to see. Like you kind of like
it's like who cares if I add a little bit more litter to the ground? Like there, it's like big no. Like don't do it.
Even on like the street, like you just go out into the street, like we don't even realize it. There's like legit like wrappers and crap all over the
nip
balls.
Everywhere.
It's
disgusting.
Medford, you name. Anywhere.
That's the thing. Even in the capital city, this is another thing why the streets are awesome. No litter.
Well, that's just cool.
It's just like
to take care of themselves.
It was like it's like a different country.
Yeah,
because it was. But like
because it was.
It was just
What was like the,
unreal?
What do you think the highlight was? Like, did you go
the entire trip?
You saw some sights as well. Like, what was
big? Yeah, I mean, I probably saw more waterfalls in like that week than I did into my entire 20 years before that.
Isn't that cool?
It's sick.
Within 8 days. You like matched
after like the fucking like 10th waterfall, you're kind of like, all right,
really?
It's getting old now. But like there was some pretty gnarly ones. Like they have the largest waterfall, I think, by volume. So like the amount of water. Well, no, in Europe.
Yeah.
Let me finish it. In Europe, like by volume, the amount of water going over the cliff is like the highest in like all of Europe or something. And like, the scope of this thing is like kind of hard to like understand unless you get up close to it because it's literally like probably 2 football fields like wide.
Really?
And it's like it's not like a thin waterfall, like a little bit's drizzling over. It's like gushing, dude. It's coming over hard. Like I wouldn't want to be in that water. You'd be dead.
How far?
That's the thing. They have a couple of really tall ones, and then they have a really fat like chunky ones.
Was that one just beefy?
That one was beefy. It was tall. I'm not gonna lie, it was tall. But like, the girth was what was impressive.
The girth was what was most impressive.
Indeed.
So like, there's a lot of those sites. Like the waterfalls. I saw you guys like, you know, like always like cliff sides.
Oh yeah. Like I said, mountains everywhere.
Didn't you guys go visit the only like active volcano?
Yeah, like in the world. Like this is probably one of the only places you can do this in the world right now because like. There's active volcanoes, like, you know, around the earth or whatever, but, like, most of them are, like, very inaccessible. Like, they're either in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the ocean. Under the ocean, there's a lot of volcanoes under the ocean.
Yeah, which is weird, but interesting.
That's what islands are made of, you know what I mean? Underwater volcanoes. They spew up with land. But yeah, this one was actually like pretty accessible. Like it was like a 4-mile hike maybe there and back. Like it wasn't even tough at all. And like the thing is, like if we had gone like a couple months ago before, because this thing, it's not like a huge volcano. It's like spewing up lava like for miles and miles. It's like kind of churning a little bit. It's just spitting up like.
Can you see it?
It's kind of like a water fountain of lava. You know what I mean? Like
so
it's
you
like
can see the lava.
Oh, big time, yeah. Like, but it's not like you know what I mean? Like going up in the air,
what was
making
that
huge
like seeing it. I feel like for me, like it seems like you kind of just.
It just is like it.
Like
you've seen lava on TV and you can imagine it, but like seeing it in real life, it's kind of like.
Like holy shit.
Yeah, like that's real. Like that. Like if I touched that, it would like scorch my hand off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not dead, but.
No, you'd die. I don't even think you could walk up to it. It's like 5,000 degrees. Like it would. You'd get like. If you walked up to it like close enough to touch, you'd already be like burning alive.
It's just like and it's right beneath, like not right, it's beneath us, like all the time.
Yeah, I guess so.
And like I feel like that would like almost like
kind of
like how
yeah.
I was saying earlier with like, the stars, like looking up and seeing stars, and like being kind of connected to like what's beyond us.
Yeah,
it's kind of like seeing like lava. I've never seen lava, but if you see like
there's so much stuff going on underneath our feet,
right underneath us, like that's right there, and like. It just pops up in these little like bubbles almost like because it's like Earth's got acne or something. It's just like
it is. It's like Earth's. Some guy I met some funny guy at a it's like a geothermal area.
Some funny guy.
Yeah, I was joking around because like I said, there's mad sulfur in the water and stuff. Yeah. And there was this one like geothermal area we went to. It was kind of like there was like geysers and like. They were way too hot to like go in because there's hot springs you can step in and like have a nice like it's like a hot tub, natural hot tub. These ones were like stupid hot, like 500 degree water or something. Like it's literally boiling off like as it just like comes to the surface.
Smell, right?
Literally like it was unbearable. Like we showed up to the place and we're like, oh, this sounds cool, and then like we get out of the car and we're like, okay, smell a little bit funny. We get closer and like there's like legit like fume clouds coming out because there's just so much stuff evaporating at once. The second it hits the air, it's like so hot it evaporates. And like it is literally like a steam vent, like concentrated like fart. Like the worst smelling fart you could ever imagine, concentrated into like a literal visible puff of smoke. Imagine a fart you could see. It was so like dense.
It was like the cartoons.
Literally.
It was like the cartoons.
It was like
Does it have a color?
It's white, so like it was mostly water, but like the stuff in the water was what was making it smell.
Yeah.
And like I had a mask on. You don't even need masks there because there's no COVID. But like I used the mask just to like filter out the smell. It didn't even help. It was just penetrating right through it. But some funny guy I met, I was like joking around with him, trying to like be a funny guy myself and be like, oh, who farted? Like the setup was better than that, but I basically said like. I know you farted, buddy. And he was like, oh, really? Like, that's the Earth's asshole.
Hey, yo.
And we were having a laugh with this random guy. I think he was American, too, based on his accent. But, yeah, it was bad. We had to leave. Like, we just kind of showed up, like, looked, like, all right, that's cool. Let's get out of here. This sucks.
What was the food like there?
Honestly, that's kind of one of my regrets. We didn't really have... a lot of their like traditional food, because like it's a lot of fish and stuff, and like I'm not opposed to fish. I like fish, but like Haley's kind of I don't want to throw her under the bus.
Guy.
She's a little picky.
Hey, she's picky. I'm not a big seafood guy either. I understand. I'd try it just because we're there.
I was looking at a book of like their historical cuisine, and it honestly kind of looked nasty. I think it was kind of the stuff that they put in the book to like, oh, look at this funny thing we eat. Like, it would be like a lamb's head.
To eat this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
eat this on occasion, but like not really.
Yeah, like they're just that's what people ate like 500 years ago because like they had nothing else.
Yeah, like I was watching Game of Thrones and like the things they're eating, it's like straight up like just they put
disgusting.
Like, basically like a pig on
a carcass.
table.
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right,
they're eating the eyeballs, the teeth, the freaking the jawbone. Like I don't even know.
Head, like I've eaten like parts of it. Like I've seen it.
Like the roasted pig with the apple in his mouth.
Pretty much, yeah. But it was like like the head, and like we went for like I ate like the ear.
The ear.
And like
how's that?
I tried stuff. Honestly, bro, like
is it like meat? I feel like that'd be way too chewy. Like how are you gonna swallow an ear? That's like eating like.
You gotta really do it the right way.
You have to ask Mike Tyson.
You gotta ask Mike Tyson, who was chewing up Vander Holyfield here. But you got yeah. But if you honestly like tried some of those things and like just weird parts of like the pig, you don't really think to try.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really think of. Like obviously like everyone has like pork, but like this is like
you eat the skin.
Like, Kinda.
I've heard like of people who've like done those kind of like roasted pigs,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's cooked in a way that like you could just kind of peel off the skin and it's like a chip.
So, yeah.
And you just eat the skin.
Yeah, that's
It's kind of gross, but like I feel like it also could be like honestly kind of good.
It's just I call it like maximizing. The meal.
Yeah, like the Native Americans, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta
like
eat.
they ate
everything.
the buffalo, they ate everything.
You
They
have
didn't
to
leave a
eat.
single thing. They used the bones, the cartilage, the meat. Like not a single thing was going to waste.
I'm a meat guy. I like you like brisket. You're a brisket.
Oh, big time brisket guy.
Just the way it falls apart, like,
Big
in
time.
your mouth. Like,
Honestly,
if you
any
eat the
barbecued
right-
meat is like you can't go wrong.
You
Pulled
really
pork,
can't.
ribs.
Pulled pork. I had pulled pork yesterday, actually.
Really?
Yeah, just
You
the way
made it,
like,
or you get it from somewhere?
It was like some. It was like some like. Might have been like in like a frozen package. Type thing, deal.
That's a little sus,
But the thing was,
Can't go
like,
wrong.
my mom knows how to finesse. So, like, she was like, all right, let's do this. But then she, like, added her own little spots. So, like, it tasted pretty good, actually. Like, I was, like, surprised for it being, like, a frozen delicacy. I was like, all right, this is actually pretty well done. Like, and she put on, like, she got, like, you know those Hawaiian rolls?
Yeah.
The bread? The bread's fire. Well, she put, like...
King's
like,
Hawaiian or whatever?
Yeah, King's Hawaiian. Little, like, sliders.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I had,
dude.
like 5 or 6. Oh, it was so
Little
good.
mini pulled pork sandwiches.
Yeah, it was so good.
Dude, you're making me hungry. Stop it.
But so yeah, 8 days. What was the so like? Obviously, you said sleeping was tough, but like, you guys were just like kind of lived in the van, like.
Yeah. So the van was a love-hate relationship. Cause so we set out like we planned this out like a couple months in advance, and Haley found like they labeled themselves like cheapest vans in Iceland, like best rates. If you find anyone else cheaper, like we'll go lower. So we were like, all right, this is no fucking brainer. Like,
You gotta go cheap.
Yeah, we did the whole thing on a budget. Not like that we skimped out on stuff, but like we weren't like, you know.
You'd rather go like live out like go spend some money on experiences than like.
That's the thing about Iceland too. Like, it's not like you don't have to pay for stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all nature that you're seeing for the most part.
I don't know if you want to tell. How much did it like cost you for like everything?
Probably less than $1,000.
That's like fire. That's
It's
awesome.
really, it was a really good like.
For that whole experience.
I'm pretty happy with how much we spent. Yeah, it was probably like $400 for the van ish, for a whole week. Not bad at all.
Not at all.
We spent like one night, like the first night we got there, we were in the city, so we spent the night in like a little hotel. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't expensive at all. Like, the one thing is expensive is the food, because like it's an island, like they got to import everything that's not made there. So like I get it. Like a bag of Doritos or something would be like what would cost like $1.50 here was probably like $3-4 there.
Really?
In USD, like kroner, it's
yeah.
like I don't
It's
know,
like whatever it was, like
800.
It's so weird. It's such a weird thing.
It's you got to get used to it. Like like I was thinking like $1,000 bill, not dollar, 1,000 kroner bill is kind of like a $5 for us.
It's so freaky.
You get used to it. It's not really. It's not like they're like poor because like everything's like in the thousands or whatever. Like it's just like it's just a different way of counting.
Yeah, it's just honestly, they could like just get rid of 3 zeros. You know, like
They could
it would
honestly.
all be fine. Like
Yeah, no, they could. Honestly, I don't know why they don't do that. Because I was getting like mad coins, like 1 kroner or like 10 kroner. Like this is literally like a cent. No, it's not even a cent. Like 1 kroner is like a fifth of a cent, dude. Like I don't even need this. Like pennies here are already useless. There, let's like
pennies are
keep them,
extremely useless. You know, isn't it like
they're worth even less there.
Deficit on pennies here? Like isn't it like
I think it costs like 1.3 pennies to make 1 penny. So every penny you see was made at a loss. Kind of silly.
That's ridiculous to me. I feel like
we should just round up to like 5
cents.
cents or whatever.
Yeah, and then if something is like 99, like $2.99, just to make it look like it's better than
That's another thing.
Outlawed. It used to be $2.95.
I think basically every country does this except the United States, but they actually include the tax like
in the price
on the menu. Yeah, so if you're reading like you're not gonna like, okay, it's like it's $3. Like I have $3.50. I don't got to be worried about like, okay, how much the tax is gonna be. You know what I mean?
You know for sure. Like I can.
That's how much I'm paying.
Yeah, that's what I'm paying.
Like no funny business. You know what I mean?
No funny business. No.
I'm gonna add like the 2.6% like on like the
you
tax
gotta do
rate, like whatever.
Fuck that. None of that shit. None of that. What
Honestly, that's what we should be doing here, but the United States is silly. So.
There's a lot of stuff we should be doing here. Why do we use
going there? It kind of
use
puts in
Fahrenheit?
perspective because like there's a lot of no-brainer stuff that's like we could easily implement this here, but like
For me, it's the metric system. That's nothing bothers me more And the fact that we use inches, feet, and stuff like that, yards, instead of like the easiest thing in the world, and what everybody else uses, and the fact that we use Fahrenheit instead of Celsius.
I have nothing against the metric system, obviously, because like it's definitely superior. It's actually based on like I don't know,
100,
110, 100, whatever.
It's all based on water. Ours is based on like what, mercury?
Something stupid like that.
What the fuck are we doing? Who's using that?
But like,
I don't know.
Yeah, like having to like deal with like, oh, I'm going 80 kilometers an hour right now. Like I have no fucking clue how fast that is.
Yeah, but if we just use that here, like to start,
we get used to it. But like coming over, like I was like, all right, we're going.
It's just like,
55 kilometers. Like this seems like I don't even know how fast I'm going. 40 miles an hour, fucking 30 miles an hour. Who knows?
What would you say? 40 kilometers?
I don't know the conversion. But I think
a
kilometer,
like it's
a mile is like almost 2 kilometers, but not quite.
It's 0.65 or 63, 0.63.
Yeah.
So it's like you just say it's like half and a little more. So like if it was 40, it'd be like 25. 40 kilometers is like 25 miles per hour. In my mind, that's how that works. I might be completely wrong though.
I don't know the conversion.
I don't know the conversion.
I'm not gonna claim to know.
I don't really need to.
I'm not gonna know the math.
Or maybe I have it backwards. I might have it the other way around. But either way, it doesn't really matter.
So in the van, right? I'll get back to this. Yeah. It was a love-hate relationship for one reason. One reason is that it was a manual, and me or Haley, we never drove a manual in our lives because like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she said that. Yeah.
No one in the United States really needs to learn how to do that. Most cars are automatic, in my opinion, the superior way.
Unless you're a car freak.
I guess, yeah. A lot of old muscle cars and like cool ones like that, like they're manual. But like, if you're just trying to get from point A to point B, like who wants to be dealing with fucking third gear, back to the fourth, okay, go back down to third, like it's a pain in the ass. It really is. And that was a real struggle. So the lease was in Haley's name, and when we were getting out of the parking lot, like we had to like, the guy was asking us like, oh yeah, you guys know how to drive a manual, right? And we were like, yeah, of course. Like we're not gonna like blow the whole mission now and be like, we never drove one in our life, and like him like be like, all right, you can't have it.
Yeah.
So like we had to wait in the car. Like he sets us up with the car, shows us like everything, like there's like stuff in the back, whatever. He goes on his merry way. Me and Haley are sitting in the seat, and like we're kind of just like prepping ourselves, trying to get this thing moving. She didn't even get it out of the parking lot without stalling this thing. I don't blame her because like it's tough. Like you never even been behind the wheel of one. Like of course it's gonna happen, but like this guy's probably watching from the window the whole time. Like he was not fooled.
This thing's going down.
So like, have you ever been in a manual car that like wasn't being drove correctly?
No, I've been in one that's been. My dad knows how to drive one.
Okay, so it's much smoother. But if you don't know how to drive one, it's gonna. You know what I mean? Because like. The gears, if you fuck up like switching the gears and stuff, like it like makes the car shake. Yeah. So like the car's like boom, 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 and like it literally looks like things about to blow up. So we're trying to get out of the parking lot just to like get far enough away where we can practice in peace.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's doing that. Like it's stuttering and stuff, and the guy has to come over and be like, give us pointers and stuff. He was actually really chill.
Okay, at least he was cool.
Yeah, he was chill about it, and like. We kind of fessed up. We were like, like...
Listen, we're American.
Yeah, like, well, we can figure it out, but, like, yeah.
We have YouTube.
And he was fine about it. He was like, yeah, if you're in trouble, like, if it's stuttering like that, just press the clutch. That's another thing. There's a clutch pedal. Completely different from, like, the brake and accelerate. Like, there's a third pedal that you have to worry about. Another reason why manual is just ridiculous. But, yeah, we ended up figuring out. The first day was definitely tough because we were in the city that day, too, and, like... Haley was driving, and if you know Haley, like she's not very good under pressure. You know what I mean? If she's under pressure, she's definitely tends to freeze up, lock up, and just kind of go into
just be like
shock mode.
The nerves get to her.
I don't blame her. I was nervous too, honestly, because like I don't want to die either.
Yeah.
But we were fine. At one point though, we were going through a rotary. They got a lot of rotaries there. No four-way stops, all rotaries. Like they don't even believe in stop signs. I like that.
I think it's better.
It is. It's
if you make it that way, then better. Yeah.
It's better, but
like obviously we wouldn't.
If you don't know how to drive, it's not better because we were good. Like once the car would go, it's already moving. You kind of like you just kind of have to like brake and accelerate from then. But like getting the car going is a fucking pain in the ass if you don't know what you're doing because. There's like a light touch to it. You gotta do. You gotta put on the accelerate, put on the gas just a little bit, all while like pulling off the clutch. Like it's just like this little like dance you got to do with your feet. Like, and if you don't do it right, like the car just doesn't move, or even worse, it's like so everyone sees like, okay, this jackass doesn't know how to freaking drive. And that was kind of embarrassing. Like that happened many times where we were trying to get going, and people would give us dirty looks, but
fuck them.
They knew we were tourists because the side of the van literally said like cheap, big letters. Like this is how I think this is how like that, but also like that's how they get you with like the cheap prices. Like they're not gonna give you just a regular van. Like they're gonna humiliate you too.
Yeah, I guess. So.
Like just like this guy's a fucking cheapo. Like he didn't want to pay. Cheap camper.
$0 on a van. $400.
I mean, hey, at rates like that, they could have freaking put whatever on the side. Like I don't even care.
They could have put an advertisement for the National Penis Museum on it for all you cared.
Dude, yeah.
More the merrier.
Literally.
So I was gonna say, how was it with Haley? Haley has an episode on the podcast, by the way. If anybody wants
Shout out to Haley.
Shout out to Haley. Haley's the best. I was with her yesterday. And anyway, but what was it like?
Well, let me get this one anecdote out of the way. I didn't quite finish it. We were in the middle of a rotary.
Oh yeah, my bad.
And yeah, so like we're trying to get the car going, and like she kind of gets it going. It's like moving a little bit, but like it's doing that thing where it's stalling a little bit. It's kind of like and like there's cars on the rotary. Like we're in the middle of this thing at this point.
Yeah.
And it stalls. Like it just stops. Like if you fuck up like the get go, it'll just stop, and you kind of have to like turn off the car and like start it again. Like it's like
redo the dance.
Yeah. And when we were first practicing that, like it was tough because like Haley literally stalled in the middle of the rotary. Like cars are trying to get like to where they're going. And like there was one point where like cars were literally like backing up behind us, like 15 cars, like literally couldn't pass us because we were basically blocking the rotary.
Oh, no.
Haley's sitting there like legit crapping her pants, like legit having a panic attack, and I gotta like walk her through the process. I don't know my shit either. I'm just like trying to be there for support, and I'm like, turn off the car, put it into neutral. Like she knows this stuff, but like when she's under pressure like that, like she freezes up. So it was scary, dude. Like I thought we were gonna have to call Icelandic AAA and like get our ass towed.
Icelandic AAA. It's like
yeah.
AAA for Iceland.
Yep.
So other than the freakouts in the rotary, how was Haley for the whole 8 days?
She did good. She drove like basically all of it, and I was honestly impressed with her progress. Like by the end of it, like she was a pro.
Yeah, she
wasn't a pro, but she was like.
She was driving.
You could tell she wasn't.
She got to Lowell.
It wasn't her first day out.
I wanted to go, and I had to go with her to go get we ordered pizza or something. And she was like, "All right, like I'll drive." And I was like, "Okay." So we went, and then she hops in the car, and instantly her hand goes to the thing. And she was like, "Oh." She was like, "I thought I was driving a manual." She's like, "My bad." I was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" So she didn't tell me. I was
it's
like,
so much more work. Like you gotta always be on top of it. You know what I mean? You can't. Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but I mean, yeah, it's only really useful for like.
I guess it saves on gas. We were talking to Mr. Tower. Yeah. Apparently, he went to Iceland a couple years back, so we were chatting with him, and he was just giving us like advice, whatever he thinks is advice. But yeah, apparently he was saying like it's better on gas or something, and I don't know.
Can't be
some nonsense. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like
that's what I think when people say other stuff.
I don't care how much I'm spending on gas if it's a pain in the ass, like driving to work.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you got really used to it, like
yeah, it gets simpler, but I would never choose a manual over an automatic if I had to.
It's automatic for a reason. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like even
you get in the car, you press go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just so much better. But I guess if you're only like car fanatics really care about that. But like just for a van for a week, not bad.
No, it was a good time.
All right. So
the sleeping arrangement was so.
You had to sleep in the same van.
It wasn't that bad. It was like. So there was the front two seats. Basically, behind that was just all the bedding. It was very uncomfortable, firstly. Like, it wasn't like sleeping on rocks or anything, but it was like this not leather, I don't even know what it was, kind of plasticky, like, bedding thing. Yeah. And it's kind of cold there, and, like, this was not, like, a thermally conductive material. Okay? Like, this thing would suck the heat right out of you. Okay? So, like, the first couple nights, I didn't, like, put anything down below me. I was just sleeping right on, like, the bed, whatever, and I was literally like freezing, like my ass off. Like it was so cold during the night. And eventually I had to like just figure out a way. Like I put blankets down and stuff, made kind of like some more secure bedding. But like those first nights were rough, dude.
What did you bring?
And like what?
Like with
like clothing,
clothes, and like did you bring like
They had blankets. The people who rented the van had a bunch of blankets that they like kind of just give you. So that was clutch.
Know what's up.
They knew it gets brick.
They knew it gets brick. They knew what was going on.
I mean, yeah, they should. They're the ones giving the vans out. But yeah, it came kitted with like a bunch of stuff. Pots, pans. They had like a little gas burner. Nice. We made the first day we hit a grocery store. That's actually where we were going when we got stuck in the rotary. I think we were leaving the grocery store parking lot, and that's kind of like where it all went down with the roadie stuff.
What's the grocery store like?
It's just like an American one, kind of. We really like.
It's the little things that do it for me. It's the little differences.
There were like tiny, minute differences, but like honestly, like you would go in there. It's not like it's like anything crazy.
I light up at those stupid shit. Like,
but
I see something real stupid.
They have cool like. It was interesting seeing like their kind of like candies and stuff because like they have like all their own like
gluten bars. Like,
yeah,
stuff like
there was these chocolate bars. I think they're European. I don't know if they're Icelandic necessarily, but they were called Milka. And they looked fire. I wanted to get one.
Why didn't you get one?
I don't know. I'm not a big chocolate guy, but like just the packaging alone like just made it look like so.
Hey, it's good advertising.
Like it looked like a good ass candy bar.
It's good advertising. For sure, it's good advertising.
I should have got one, honestly.
Hey, what are you gonna do? Maybe next time. Do you plan on like going like back to Iceland, or do you
I don't know if I'd go back to Iceland.
Places?
I mean, I would recommend it to anyone. It's honestly an amazing country. If I were to go back, though, it'd probably be a lot down the line. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd go to some other places first.
What's next on the list? You got like another place?
Oh wow!
Honestly,
if I was gonna go on a trip, I'd keep to the U.S. because I feel like there's so much to see within the U.S.
I've been on that ride too. Yeah, I've been feeling like that.
See what's in our own mother country first before you kind of branch out. Because there's a lot of the world to see, but I feel like we should be seeing, what's in our own backyard.
There's plenty here. I was even saying
you get a little bit of everything in the United States.
Yeah,
deserts, forests.
Like a place I've been looking at is
mountains,
Houston.
Yeah.
Because like all like the NASA like the space station stuff. I think that's just cool, and like that's like right, and that's in the U.S. and it feels it's own whole culture and different feel to it. Then going to like Bourbon Street and like what's it called?
Louisiana,
going to New Orleans, going down. Yeah. Like it's all jazz and titties, and then going over to like the Mormons and like Utah. And then just going up like that.
Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
See around there.
It's just like there's so much.
Honestly, I would love to go to Alaska. Alaska would be amazing.
Go to Juneau. Go to the city.
Or Hawaii too. Honestly, Haley, she's recently been to Hawaii. Oh, yeah, you probably know about that. She was there for a couple months, but she said that Iceland was basically just cold Hawaii.
Hawaii?
I thought that was like kind of I could see it. I've never been to Hawaii, but I could definitely understand it because like they're both like island chains. They're both like got volcanoes. They're both formed by volcanoes and stuff. Like, yeah, the only like real difference is like the weather.
Yeah, which I guess like for me, I'd rather be 50 than 90. So I think I'd like Iceland a little better.
Yeah, big time.
I like it a little chill.
The winter I could see would be like a hellscape.
That'd be
hellish.
It would be hellish. I wouldn't want to really do Iceland.
Because not only just that, it's like, so it's always daylight in the summer, but it's also the opposite in the winter. It's always dark. Like there's like 2 hours of sunlight. And it's not even like true daylight. It's like dusk or dawn or whatever.
So it's because
it gets a little bit brighter for a couple hours and then
So it's because we're just like.
Yeah, the orbit of the Earth.
But like my thing is, the Earth spins.
So unfortunately, I couldn't see the Northern Lights while I was there because it never got dark.
But you would have if it was like.
I think so. I don't know if it's. I think I don't know if it's just a winter thing or it just happens to only be visible in the winter because it's dark.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
I think that's it. Like. But
or depending on where you are, based on.
If you were to go during the winter, I think that's probably would be like one of the big reasons why.
Is that what Tower saw? Tower saw Northern Lights. I feel like he saw that.
He probably did, but I didn't.
But Northern Lights, it just seems like one of those things. It's like
everyone's
it almost feels like
fake.
Like it feels like it's like doesn't exist.
Like you see pictures, but like it always looks photoshopped.
Yeah, it's just like it just does. Like, imagine seeing that with your own eyes and just being like, oh, like like imagine just like I like looking up and seeing that. You look up and you see the sun, and you look up and you see like the moon, and like there's all these things like when you really look at it, and then people got the balls to be like, yeah, no, we're alone, like with all that space.
No way,
dude. So you saw some news today.
Yeah, we'll segue into that. So I'm sure anyone listening has probably heard about like these recent sightings. I think it was the Air Force. Actually, I think it was the Navy, but it was like a Navy pilot.
Navy pilot is what it was.
They saw some unidentified object, like
bussin'.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen the footage, like it's crazy. It's like a little black dot.
Yeah.
Even looks like a flying saucer. I mean, I'm not gonna go there yet, but like I'm not gonna make any huge assumptions. But like, this thing was not an animal for sure. Like I could see like, oh, maybe it was like a hawk, like I don't know, diving or something. No way, no chance.
It didn't move.
Even they saw it like probably in person a little bit better. Like we just see like the radar, which is just like black and white. Like they saw like it actually real, and they were describing it like, oh, it's 1 second it's there, and they fly away like the speed of light, like miles away, like literally in the blink of an eye.
Gravity propulsion.
But just today, this guy, he worked for NASA. Former senator, I'm blanking on his name, but basically someone who doesn't have any reason to just, he's no crackpot guy making this up, writing a blog about it. Like
writing a blog.
He's like legit. And he came on the CNN today and was like basically saying like, first of all, like we don't think it's like foreign technology, like it's not like Russia or China, because like first of all we don't even have anything close to that. No chance they do, considering like first of all we got the CIA's got their fingers and everything. You know what I mean? Like if they had something that crazy, the U.S. would either have something even crazier or we would know about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the fact that we're saying it's not them is kind of like, I don't buy it, you know what I mean? Like, people are trying to say, oh, it's Chinese aircraft or Russian aircraft. They don't got shit like that. No one does.
No one's got stuff.
No one's got, not yet.
No scientist in the world has discovered how to move like that.
But he was basically saying, this NASA guy was like, yeah, like, I think it's foolish to say, like, oh, that we're alone. Like, it's closed-minded considering how big, like, the universe is.
Oh, my gosh.
He wasn't going, he's not trying to, like, start, like, an uproar or something, like say like, oh yeah, these aliens, like they're definitely here. But he was open about the possibility for sure. Like he was definitely saying like, he was ruling out everything it wasn't. You know what I mean? He was saying it's not an animal, it's not U.S. technology, it's not foreign technology. Like, what else could it be?
Like it has to be something.
It's got to be something that's I don't know that we don't know.
Yeah, I was I think Neil deGrasse Tyson went on a little like tweet rampage.
I saw that basically saying like no way.
Like why?
He's a hater.
Why would they look at us? Like why would, if they have this type of technology, why would they come here and look at us? And I'm like, well, okay,
it's like why do we go into like rural parts like the jungle and like study birds?
It's also true.
Or, like ants or something.
And if you
it's like that's the same thing for them.
Yeah, and if you look at all the other so say like they were studying just our solar system, like randomly. It's like, all right, time to study that solar system. Let's go look over in the Milky Way, this solar system. Okay, there's 8 planets. Okay, that one, it's raining diamonds. Whatever, it rains diamonds here too. Whatever, planet they're on, like whatever. Oh, that one's got nothing going on. It's barren. Oh, there's some rings there. Let's go check that out later. That's all rocks. We don't want to hurt our vehicles. Oh, this one's got life on it. Yeah. Is that not interesting enough? Like I feel like just having one with life versus the rest having no life. I mean, as far as we're concerned, no life. Like, I feel like that's enough to be like, all right, let's go look at this one.
It makes you wonder.
It's not mutually exclusive. Like, that's just one probe. And, like, it could
I think there was multiple videos, though. Like, there's been... the NASA guy I was talking about, he said, like, there was 140 similar sightings. Like, not all of them were caught on camera, but, like, there was many different, like, similar sightings. Excuse me.
You could go. You're good.
There's been like multiple sightings of like similar like stuff going down. So like, I don't know if it's them getting sloppy or if it's us getting better at like catching them off guard. You know what I mean?
A little bit of both.
Maybe a little bit of both.
I think we kind of got a little good at catching them.
Like our aircraft has kind of reached the point where like, doesn't matter how good they are. Like, you know what I mean? We're gonna see you somehow.
Yeah, we'll see something. We're not gonna know exactly what we're seeing, but we'll see something. Exactly. And at the same time, they've been doing this for so long.
Literally, like they could have been here since the ancient Egyptians. You know what I mean?
Probably were, dude.
Exactly. Like the ancient Egyptians were probably like, oh shit, like that's like Horus. You know what I mean?
Would you look at that?
It's Ra, the sun god.
Yeah, that seriously. Yeah, Ra is the name. Yeah, someone said that to me the other day. I think it was Haley actually. I saw it on Haley about like the gods and whatever.
But like that's probably what they thought. But like nowadays we're like, damn, okay, that's
probably an alien.
That's a saucer.
If you think about it, if you really think about it, like the sun is kind of a god.
In a way, yeah, it brings life.
Like
if you take like the basic like definition of God, like a giver of life, maker of life. Like I feel like the sun kind of falls in that.
Yeah, I think like because I was thinking about like, all right, like listen, does the sun have like a face and like hands and that? Like no.
I don't think it's it's not alive.
It's not alive
like a human is, but
no,
like
but I mean,
it's like a very complicated machine almost. Like,
but that's what I think a god would be like.
Yeah,
a god would be like just diff. Like they'd just be like living diff, dude. Just
you ever
like,
seen Futurama?
I know what it is, but I've never seen it. No.
There's a very interesting like take. There's an episode, Bender, the robot.
Yeah.
Basically, he's like floating out in space, and he meets like this god character, and like I just really always liked like their rendition of what God is because like basically they kind of like show him as like a collection of like it's weird to describe like collection of like atoms and like molecules. Like it's like a gas cloud, and like it's so advanced that like it's like communicating with itself, but like I don't know, it knows everything, and
like,
it's just
like it is like a piece of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of sentient, like, and it spreads out like everywhere, and like I don't know. I just always like that rendition of God because it's not really like I don't think it's some guy up in the clouds like looking down on us who's like hyper focused on Earth. If there is a God, what I mean? Like I think it's kind of selfish to think that like there's so much of the universe. Why would like the God like be so freaking like focused on Earth? Like, oh, you were jacking off, like you're going to hell. Like, if there's a God, like I really doubt it cares.
And maybe it has a sub. Maybe the God's got some. Maybe this God's got some. What is it?
Daddy issues.
Some daddy issues.
He's got no daddy.
Maybe it's got some like people or not people, some underlings like looking down on each planet or each like,
maybe.
And maybe we're just a little experiment, like, because I feel like we got a lot.
What if we're just
compared to other planets, we got a lot going on.
We're just like a TV show. Like this is like MTV.
You ever watch
Cribs.
Did you watch WandaVision?
I haven't. No. Is there something like that in there?
It's kind of like that. It's like that's how it starts. Like this lady like basically just takes over.
It's like all fabricated, right?
All fabricated. It's really
I kind of
cool.
picked it up from like the trailers I've seen.
It's really, really cool. I think I like that type.
But it's like all like fake, right? Like it's like none of it's real.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be a TV show.
Well,
but like
I guess it is real, but it's like it's because like these characters and like these Marvel movies, they can like morph reality. So it is kind of reality. It's just like
they just had like crafted.
It's
themselves.
just it's her distort. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So it's really really cool though. It's really cool.
That does sound cool.
And plus I like it because it goes like first episode is like the 50s. And it goes 60s and 70s and
right
80s.
Isn't like every episode
one of
like
them's like a Modern Family
yeah, it's like a parody of like
really
different
cool.
sitcoms, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. Which to me is like a guy who loves sitcoms. I'm a sitcom guy.
Yeah. Is there a Seinfeld episode? I'd love that.
It's kind of like that. Like I mean, it's like the 90s. Like
I know there's like
Seinfeld, Friends.
There's like the 50s like black and white one. It starts off and like
it's so like just stupid. Like that. Like old
silly
sitcoms were so dumb. Just like, oh, there's a heart on the calendar. What is this day? And like then like the wife acts like he's supposed to know, and then when he leaves, the wife doesn't know, and then she's racking her brain as to what it is, and you know what I mean? And it's just this whole, it's so stupid, like stupid stuff. But
is there like a bigger overarching like plot line?
Yeah, there is, and that's where like it gets a little wild, because there's people that are like, because what happens is in the show, it's like it's getting broadcasted out to like other people, and it's like the life that she's created. It's like it's wild. And like the whole first episode, they don't really lead on anything. The whole first episode is just all like I'm not really spoiling anything, I don't think, because you find out like very well. Right, but like
it's kind of self-contained. Like
it's like you find that out pretty.
But then
like,
slowly over the course of the series, they
open
it up.
Going into it, kind of. Yeah. And then because obviously that's not what's going on. So like and then like the first it's like it's all fine. The first episode, it's all pretty much tight knit like a 50s sitcoms. What it feels like. And then there's one little part where like the cameras change, like the way like they're talking changes. Things just kind of get a little like rocky, and you're like, what's going on here? And then like at the end of every episode, it's like a slow build up. Zoom out from like a TV screen, and like that's how they kind of like slowly bring you into the idea.
Gotcha.
Which is
neat.
Cool. But like, and that could be something that like we like are living. Way. Like, what if we're living in some TV show?
What I wonder is like so. The current idea is like, 500 million, 600 million years ago, like some bacteria, not even like microscopic organism kind of just like popped into existence, or like we don't even know where it came from. Like it could have just been like a coincidence where like a couple like molecules that do something and a couple other molecules do something, like just happen to like come together and like chain. And then that just made like some very simple but like self-replicating machine, and that became life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I'm just saying,
Like,
like, it could have just been, like, total coincidence that, like, like, no way, it just popped up out of nowhere, you know what I mean?
It didn't pop up. It could be a coincidence, too.
But, like, yeah, like, just a natural machine, and then, like, that natural machine just slowly, like, was able to replicate, and, you know, it slowly became more complicated, and that's evolution, right? But, like
all come from the same thing, which is
what if, instead of just, like, it happened on Earth, what if, like, this bacteria or microorganism, whatever, I don't even know if you could call it a bacteria. I'm not a scientist, but, like, it came on an asteroid, right? Because, like, that's how, like, a lot of the Earth's, like, water and stuff was, like, introduced. Because, like, originally it was just a big rock, but then, like, asteroids with, like, a shit ton of ice and water, like, landed, and that became, like, the oceans. What if, like, that came from, like, a different planet that did have life? Maybe not intelligent life, but some sort of life. Hey. And then it traveled here on this asteroid, and that, like, kind of just gave, like...
It's very possible.
It was, like, Earth was the egg, and that was, like, the sperm, and that became life. It's all connected, you know what I mean?
A good way, like, and that's not, like, wild, because the idea of it is, like, also when asteroids hit the Earth, like, when people went to the moon, if you believe that or not, but when people went to the moon,
yeah,
I believe in the moon landing, but, like,
I think most people do.
Yeah, they were just sketch about it. I'm just gonna say they were sketch about it. It's real.
There's some holes,
like,
in it.
They just really were, like, pushing it, like, way too much. Like, they were just overdoing it with all, like, the average. They didn't have pictures, whatever. But, like, they did get, I think they got there for sure. But then, like, when they brought back, like, samples of rocks, like, some of it was, like, Earth samples. And they're like, it's because when asteroids hit the Earth, it breaks off, and the closest gravitational field from the Earth is the moon. So that moon would take on some Earth rocks from, like millions of years ago. Yeah. And so it's not, and, like, they've been there for a while to the point where we couldn't even identify it from picking it up. It just looks like it's moon. And then so the idea would be, I guess, that, like, somewhere far away, like billions of years ago, even massive,
sent it here,
an impact bigger than we can even, like, imagine.
Planets colliding, suns colliding.
Yeah, suns colliding, like, solar system just entirely, like, exploding everything, and then you just here comes one little asteroid, and
with, like, a couple bacteria hitchhiking.
By little we mean, like, the size of, like, Alaska, you know what I mean, or bigger than that, the size of, like, the United States, comes all the way over and just smashes into us, and then that's where the life comes from. And that's not wild to think.
No, this is really out there, just, you know, spitballing.
Keep going, dude. We're rolling.
What if it was purposeful? You know what I mean? Like another super advanced race, who even knows if they're around? Like, they were like, all right, we got to spread our, you know, our seed or whatever, like our life. We got to spread life. And they kind of did that. Like, they just, like, I don't know, there's bacteria, microorganisms, whatever, sent them out, and then just, like, hoped it landed somewhere that, like,
you know, maybe it's all over the place. Maybe they just put, like, these little droplets of things everywhere.
There's that
just,
moon.
Like, see how it goes.
That moon on Jupiter's moon, I think it's called Titan.
Yeah, I think
it's got a bunch of, like, water, supposedly liquid water under the surface. Like, it's icy on the top, but, like, there's supposed to be, like, liquid water underneath. And people think, like, oh, there could be life there. You know what I mean?
Could be, yeah.
Kind of like, because that's, like, similar conditions to, like, where life first formed on Earth. So, like, there could be, like, fucking, imagine, like, extraterrestrial sharks down there.
What do you think would be? It would be kind of cool. That'd be cool. But, like, what if, like, and they have, like, 3 heads. But wouldn't it be kind of cool if, like, just, like, imagine living on the moon, and then the Earth. And then, like, the planet is, like, your planet. So, like, it's like we look at the moon, and, like, the moon looks at Earth. But imagine being, like, living on Titan, and then you looking at Jupiter, and it's like that's, like, the big.
It takes up, like, the whole.
You'd see that all the time.
Yeah.
And, like, that's pretty cool. And then also,
that'd also be scary though,
because really, like, scary. It'd be really
like standing on the surface and, like, literally, like, 50% of the night sky is just, like, Jupiter.
I wonder what that would look like. That'd be cool for, like,
it would kind of be scary because it would feel like you'd, like, crash into it, but it never, you know, it wouldn't. It's orbiting, but, like, it would just, like, be.
It'd be cool to see that all the time.
Even some days, like, the moon is, like, bigger than usual, and it's kind of like.
Yeah, I'm like, get back up, bro. Like, and when it turns red.
Yeah, they, like,
you see a red moon?
Like a super moon or something, whatever they call it,
blood moon or something like that. Like, I see it and I'm like, that's kind of sauce, dude. Like, I mean, it just looks, I mean, it's crazy to look at. That's why I like to look. I don't like looking at stars too much. Like, I'm, like, out there, like, with my telescope.
Like, yeah.
Let's check out the stars.
Stargazing.
But it is cool to, like, when you do every once in a while, like, get in, like, a space where there's no light pollution, it's pitch black. Like, when you go to, like, if you go to like Maine,
Yeah.
and you just look up, and it's just like you can really see like.
That's honestly something that I gotta cross off the bucket list. Like I've been to like up in New Hampshire and Maine, and like even there though, there's still a little bit of like you gotta go like to like freaking
to Alaska,
like something like Alaska, like literally like where there's like no one for hundreds of miles to get like untouched.
And you can just see like from, like so far, and it feels like it never ends.
You can't even count the number of stars in the sky. Like,
and another cool thing is like it's like even the sun. It takes the sun like 7 minutes for the light to hit here. So we're kind of like seeing.
That's what blows about physics, dude.
What blows about it? Is that what you said?
Like, speed of light obviously is like dummy fast. Like, but like
dummy fast.
It's honestly not that fast compared to like the vastness of the universe. Like comparing how big everything is, like the speed of light is like snail's pace.
I think I saw. I was watching.
Like even at like so that's like supposed to be like the speed limit. Like you can't go faster than light because like whatever, there's reasons.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it doesn't have mass, and you can't. Something with mass can't travel faster than something without mass.
Yeah.
So.
As far as we're concerned.
So if light has no mass and that's how fast it travels, it can't travel faster than that. But yeah, like it would take like 150 years to get from like here to like the closest star that like is even near us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's going at the speed limit.
Like I said, they're going at the limit.
Which we're probably not going to be able to like create machines that could even go that fast.
But
like
you probably wouldn't like. So if like my planet's here, we're trying to reach here, 100
spaceship.
This is our spaceship, and we're 150 million light years away.
Yeah.
This is our science experiment. Like obviously, like covering that like is honestly that would take 150 million.
You would need like you ever seen WALL-E?
What is it?
WALL-E, like the Pixar movie.
Oh yeah. I've seen WALL-E.
You know, like how like they have like basically all humanity left Earth, and they're on this massive ship that's like basically designed to like host all of humanity for like thousands of years, because obviously it's gonna take that long to like travel the universe. Mm-hmm. So like we'd need to build something like that, like if we were ever gonna like colonize another solar system.
Yeah, we need something that we need like basically
like the people who got on the ship that day would never even hope to like actually see like where they go. You know what I mean? Like it would be multiple you'd die even hundreds of generations. You
basically need a planet ship.
Yeah.
But what you'd be better off doing is, instead of trying to travel the distance,
create a wormhole.
Just try to cut off the distance. And just go from boat to bob.
That's supposed to be what wormholes are, but you ever heard of spaghettification?
Don't you like just?
Yeah, like
that's like if you jump through the Earth.
That's the idea. Like I think if you traveled like.
Isn't that the real word for it too?
Spaghettification, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Going through a wormhole or going like past like the event horizon, like the border of a black hole, like that's what would happen, because like the gravity is so intense. Like on one end, even though you're only 5 feet tall or whatever, 6 feet tall, like the gravity is so intense, like from this like your feet versus your head, because it's so powerful that the distinction between like just the gravity at your feet and the gravity at your head, it's strong enough to like literally pull you like I said, like into a spaghetti noodle.
Yeah, and you die.
You couldn't travel that. Yeah, you die.
It's gotta be a workaround. Maybe I'm thinking
science hopefully does have a workaround, but I don't think we're close yet.
Not even close. No, I think you'd have a much better chance of working in that direction.
That's why if I
for 150 million years than trying to travel 150 million light years.
If I was like a Bezos type guy, you know what I mean, like more money that I could spend, like I'd be frozen, dude. I'd be like Ted Williams.
I'd be frozen.
Frozen like Ted Williams. I'd be freaking
like Teddy Dubs, like Walt Disney.
Yeah, literally.
Just in case, because one day,
if they could unthaw you and like come back to life, that'd be lit.
Yeah. Would you come? But they need to let people die though. Who
would you? That's why I'm like.
Say you get to save 3 people, not including your family.
I mean, I'm assuming that by the point like they unfreeze us, like we kind of have like control of like there's not like famine or food.
Yeah, hopefully.
Like, hopefully everyone, we have the technology to basically supply everyone.
If we can bring people back to life, maybe hopefully. Yeah, if we can cheat death. If you could bring back like 3 people to see what's going on today from all of history.
That's a good question, dude.
I feel like honestly I'd stick to recent history.
Aristotle.
Oh really? Oh, you go to like that's actually good. That's
because like he's such a brilliant guy, right? Like even for his time, but like obviously he was wrong about a lot of things, but like the stuff he was right about was like very impressive because like they had nothing. You know what I mean? It wasn't fucking Google back then. Like he was the Google. Like,
he was Google.
Like he was the guy to figure out like freaking like displacement stuff. No one before him like figured out like you put something in water, it makes the water like go higher or something. I don't know. He figured out a million.
He figured out like the stuff that seems so basic to us today. He put science to it.
But like if we were able to show him like the lengths of like science has gone to today, he'd probably like shit a brick, dude.
He'd freak out. He'd freak out. I'd bring back some like. I think Martin Luther King would like to see what's going on right now.
I feel like he's too recent.
He is, but like I don't want to bring someone that's just like that would freak out. I don't want to bring someone that would,
be like, or like George Washington,
that would like shoot himself in the face.
Like imagine like seeing like
George Washington,
like see what you accomplished, buddy.
Like hey, you did well.
Like by the end of his life, the United States was still like a fledgling nation. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
still like insignificant, like on the world stage. Like nowadays, we're the biggest cat around. So like, I feel like he'd see so many like statues of him and stuff. Like
it must be like a proud feeling, and then like to know like you're not
your dream didn't die.
Yeah, no, it didn't stop with you. Like you know some people like their biggest fear is death, but like you're not really dead unless people forget who you are.
Right. Yeah,
so
good.
He's like never really died in a way.
He hasn't. No,
so it's like it'd be cool to like bring him back and like show him like everything. I feel like I'd say Martin Luther King. I wish it could be like years later, but like just to show like, hey, listen, like we're moving, like. Yeah. Might not be too fast. It might not be the best. But we're moving. Like, let's look at, like...
Honestly, he, like... How old was he when he died? He'd probably be dead today, but, like, he would probably...
Barely. Like,
he would have lived till probably at least, like, 2000. You know what I mean?
He would have seen some stuff.
He would have seen...
Because he was, like, not the beginning of it, but he was, like, a big catalyst.
Yeah, he was probably, what, like, 50, 60?
And, like... He might have even been younger. He might have been in his 40s.
If so, then he could have freaking... He could still be, like...
How old was MLK when he died? Oh.
What year was he born?
He was 39.
Damn.
He was born in 1929 when he was born.
Dude, he could have stayed... Okay,
he could still be alive.
My grandma was born in 1929, dude.
She's alive?
Yeah.
Good for her, dude, by the way.
I mean, she's only, what, like 90?
That's old, though.
It's old.
90s is old.
Yeah, but, like, he easily could have still been alive to this minute.
Sure. Especially with, like...
You could have had him on the podcast, dude.
Dude. Fuck. Damn. Do we know who murdered him?
Yeah, I think it was... No, not Jack Ruby. That was someone else.
The King family and others believe that the assassination was the result of the conspiracy involving the U.S. government, the mafia, the Memphis police, as alleged by Lloyd
The FBI did not fuck with MLK.
Didn't fuck with a lot of those guys in the 60s, huh? They didn't fuck with JFK either.
You know J. Edgar Hoover?
Who?
J. Edgar Hoover. He's like the first head of the FBI.
Yeah.
He basically ran the joint for it was made like shortly after World War II, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then like he ran it up into like the 60s or 70s or something. Like this dude like literally was probably the most powerful man in the United States. Just because like first of all, he wasn't like publicly accountable. He's not like a president, you know what I mean? He doesn't have to deal with all the like day-to-day flack like politicians get.
Questions.
But he has his fingers in everything. You know what I mean? Like he would just tell his agents. So little oversight too. Like he was basically the man in charge of the FBI, and they were like ruthless back then. Like, oh yeah, go topple this frickin' regime. Oh like go wiretap like MLK for me. Like, that's how like they know like MLK like cheated on his wife was because like the FBI was wiretapping him and shit. Like this guy.
We give him a pass for that, right? We give MLK a pass for it.
Yeah.
I give him a pass. I think I'm not a big fan of saying for example, Paul George in this playoffs.
Yeah.
Is having a great playoff run. But last year he sucked. So usually I say, okay, he sucked last year. He's good this year. That's the end of it. He
neutralizes.
Him doing something good this year does not make him not suck last year. He sucked that year. He's good this year. That's the end of the story, kind of. But with that, I think I'm okay with it. Like with like that, I'll let that one I'll just forget about that one. Like I'll forget that he cheated on his wife. I guess I can forget that. Was he abusive? Do we know that?
I don't think so. I think he just liked pussy. He was he was horny, dude.
Well, pussy was being thrown at him, right? You must think.
I'm guessing, like, when you're that famous, like, I don't know, he's such a, even in his time, like, obviously after his death, like, he was definitely immortalized, but, like, even when he was alive, like, he was, like, a big shot, so, like.
I had a wet dream one day. He probably liked white bitches. That's why he was all about it. This dude MLK, he was kind of a pimp. Was he good looking? Hold on.
When he was younger, I bet he kind of got fat though.
Yeah, he definitely gained a little bit of weight. Let me look at MLK young picture. Well, I put Iowick here. What happened to like his in between years? I mean, like you can. Here's the thing: he's not handsome, but
he
I
ain't
can
ugly
see
either,
like.
I feel like he's
Maybe it's just because he's a powerful person. I feel like powerful people just got like this like look to him, and he's like a smart
guy.
You just tell he's smart. Like he's just like obviously we know who he is. Like just look at the way look at the confidence.
Yeah, he's not going to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, but
no,
like
sir. But
he's definitely not like hard to look at either.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. All right. Well, hold on. What time? How much time? How far are we? Hour 15, kid.
Damn. How long do these usually go for?
Between an hour and a half, which is we're literally dead smack in the middle of that. So we can, if you do,
let's just go until we fizzle out.
You know? Yeah, I was gonna say. So other than like the alien stuff, what about like have you heard of like anything about like the Eastern civilization like before Western?
What?
Like if there was any like, have you ever like seen anything about that?
Describe it more. Like I'm not ringing any bells right now.
So like Western civilization was the first. That's like the start, according to our history books.
Okay.
That's the start. It's like okay, like the Nile River and like
right.
You know, like the Babylon stuff like
yeah,
ancient Mesopotamia,
yeah,
stuff like that, right? So what if that's cap? What if it was all in the Eastern,
like over in Asia?
Like
is that what you mean by Eastern?
That's Eastern. I meant Western. I swapped them because I have like not dyslexia, but I'm not smart.
Right.
So let's just say that's Western civilization. That's Eastern. That's Eastern civilization. What if Western was the start?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that shit was going down over here, and it was like pretty advanced. Like in some terms, it was pretty advanced, and then a catastrophic event like a
sent
flood,
everyone back.
just was like took out a lot of these of these things and people over here, right?
That actually, it's this thing called the Bronze Age collapse. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think like we know so little because like first of all like stuff was barely written down back then, but even what was written down was like destroyed because like there was no one to keep up with like the records and stuff. But like
what's the library
Library of Alexandria?
That's a tragedy.
Yeah,
that's honestly like
so many ancient like. Probably like the biggest library in the world for thousands of years, and then it just burns down. Everything in it's gone.
That like bugs me. Imagine at the time.
We have. There would probably be so many historical and like, just like records that we are lost. Like they were probably one of a kind. So many one of a kind copies in there that like detailed like certain historical events that like we don't even know about.
It's probably the equivalent of like if the internet
like just died.
If everything on the internet
just wiped.
Because obviously a lot of people would have the information in their heads.
People would travel from like thousands of miles, like scholars, like people in like
just to smell it,
just to go there and read. You know what I mean? Because it was literally like the only place in the world like it at the time.
Where knowledge existed.
Yeah, where like people actually kept like scrolls and stuff.
Like that. Imagine like I wonder if things would be.
We'd
different.
be living in like you seen those memes where it's like. This is what the world would look like if X didn't happen.
Yeah.
No cap. Like, if the fucking Library of Alexandria, didn't burn down, like, we'd be, like, 300 years ahead right now.
How did it burn?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I feel like I remember myself hearing why and then saying, well, how did they let that happen?
Everything's paper, so, like, I could understand. I think the building itself might have been stone, but, like, obviously all the scrolls and stuff are, like, basically paper. Like,
shit just caught. You think someone got from the rubble a little book and they're like, look, this, it's mine. And now that
I don't know if it was accidental or on purpose. Either way, it's true.
I forgot how it happened.
If it was on purpose, that's real dick move.
Bullshit. That's some bullshit. If someone did that, I'd be livid, very upset. But yeah, like the idea is that like Western, like civil, like it had like a flood, and then like
like Egypt, Greece,
like further
Israelite and stuff,
like
further back,
like west.
Oh, like
here.
Really? Okay.
So
it depends what you like.
It's not.
What do you mean by civilization? Because I think that's like a
not
very specific historical term that like it's easy to misplace. Like
they were
obviously
settled.
Native Americans were here for since whatever the last ice age.
Those are more nomadic
But would you call that a civilization? I guess the Incan people, right? I think historians would qualify them as a proper civilization because they had certain they had cities, they had hierarchical structures, right? There was a
irrigation.
Guy on top, irrigation exactly. They had
what would we consider
to be civilization? Whereas not that they're like stupid or like barbaric, but like hunter-gatherer. Yeah, exactly. Like, they don't have the same like level of structure like in their society. So like we wouldn't consider that a civilization. So like even though there was people like basically all over the earth for like thousands of years, like there was only a few key like civilizations.
Yeah, I mean civilizations.
Okay, yeah.
And they were there, and like I don't know, but I saw some cool. This is some cool stuff because like obviously if it was confirmable, then like that'd be the truth. But like it's not. It's unconfirmed. I like looking at things that aren't really like true. I think like the things that aren't fact. But
like how far back are you talking to? Like you saying like
pretty like before Mesopotamia. Like not too far, like, too much before, but before.
I feel like you also like you would need some writing is like the biggest thing in a civilization, right? You can't have a civilization without a form of writing.
Form of writing language. But the thing that there is like there's this like site, I think it's called Göbekli Tepe. It's like this like it's like this massive like it's like a church. It's like a church type thing. It's not like a church. It's like a religious site. Yeah. And it's built. It's constructed, and that's like the key is like like they settled here. Right. And they construct it, and they have like, and they like put it together, and like hunter gatherers, they don't do that. They don't use tools. Like they don't.
Well, maybe they do, but it's
tools
like
for like hunting and like for like.
They might have like camping, a local like structure, like a hierarchy. Like there's like a chief, but like it doesn't go further than that. You know what I mean?
They don't have like full massive scale.
They don't have streets, buildings.
They don't have shit like that.
They don't have like farmland that they're cultivating.
They had that, and they had to have farmland, and they had to feed these people. So like. Well, because they're building, and it took projectively took a long time.
Yeah, you gotta feed them.
And so like, that's the idea is like that's all they got, but it's all wiped out from a flood, which led to ice, and then like it just compacted. It's so like smothered down that it's like basically nothing. But like,
why are you saying this is like a thing? Like, if there's no proof,
here's why it's interesting.
Like, is there any like?
Here's why I get excited. This is why I like it.
Yeah.
So if you think about. Later on, like the Incas and stuff like that, like on like the west,
South America,
South America, stuff like that, and like the way that and like their practices and like the way that they like kind of like their religions and like like those pictures of like the people with like the eagle head, whatever, right? And then if you look on the other side of the world, it's like similar looking things, like there's similar looking like religion. Motifs, everything. Motifs, exactly, stuff that looks very similar, and like. They look so similar. It's like, how are they independent? And like before the Incas, like even like before stuff that's like they just how are they independent even though they look so alike? And so the idea is that this old civilization that was a little more advanced than like we're led to believe, almost in a different way, but like close to us, right? But in a different way. Like obviously we went with like the technology, internet, stuff like that. They may have went in a different direction with that, like in terms of being advanced. And so they get wiped out by this massive flood. And so a good amount of people get out and they take like boats or even fucking planes for all we know. A helicopter, like a form of like flight or boats. And it's wild. Okay. Stick with me. And they get to these places where these like hunter-gatherers are at and they're all telling each other at the same time. They're like, all right, we're going to die. There's only like 3 of us here. We're not going to be able to like live. Give all our... Let's just teach them as much as we possibly can. Okay. Now, that might lead in whatever direction, but here's why I think that might be true. Because if me and you were the only ones alive, right? Yeah. From a massive thing that killed everybody. Obviously, now we're so expanded that like it would have to wipe out the whole world. But let's say only uncontacted tribes were what's left. Yeah. And then us two. We'd go to one, and then we'd be like, yeah, so those like things that fly over you, those planes like that was us. See the moon, we've been there. Like you see all this shit, we've been there. Like we've done. So
you're going back to like the UFO sightings. It's that.
Like I'm just saying, like and to these people, we have this language barrier. We've gone to the uncontacted tribe. We're trying to tell them like how to irrigate because with all the knowledge we possibly have, which isn't as much as like. Well, we probably should about like irrigation and shit like that.
We still would know more than
know more than these idiots, not idiots, than these hunter gatherers.
Yeah, they just don't know.
They just don't know. So we teach them as much as we possibly could. And we'd look different, and we'd tell them that we came from the sky. We take a helicopter, wherever we take a.
We'd basically be aliens.
We'd be gods. Yeah. So we would be. We'd be gods.
Okay, that's honestly.
So what happens is, well, the thing is that they went to all these different places, and that's why they look so similar because they taught them similar things, and there was still the same language barrier, still the same problems, and people may have known like, oh, we know the speed of light, we know the size of the earth, we know all this shit. Let's make the pyramids pretty much exactly like that.
It's funny because like people try to like point out like, okay, like the South American like civilization, like the Incas or whatever, they made like ziggurats or whatever, like pyramids, and then like, you know, halfway across the earth, like in Egypt, there's pyramids there too. And then like even further east in like Borneo and like Southeast Asia, like in Vietnam and those jungles, like they have like similar ziggurats as well. Like they're all pyramids. But what I would say to that is, it really like someone teaching them like, okay, like, yeah, you got to build pyramids, or is it just kind of like the natural progression? Like, this is the best way. Maybe. This is just the most simple and best way to stack rocks. Like, that lasts a long time.
It probably is, Brendan.
Like, I don't know if it was like some, you know, people like to say like, okay, the aliens came to Earth and like taught people how to build a pyramid. It's like, oh, how could they have done it like back then? Which is like a feat. Like, that's kind of crazy to think about.
We barely be able to do
they didn't even have like wheels. And they had like
barely be able to do that.
Literally. I mean, I don't know. The Bass Pro Shop's pyramid's pretty impressive. Imagine seeing that in 10,000 years. They'd be like, how'd they do it?
Motherfucker.
It was a shopping center?
That's wild.
For fishing gear?
That's sick. Yeah, but, you know, like... I feel
but it is crazy, like, how'd they move, like, literally 10-ton blocks of concrete without even wheels. Like, they haven't even invented wheels yet. How the hell do you fucking lift that up and then put it, stack of hundreds of them on top of each other? Like,
slavery is one part, but...
I guess, but, like, I mean, how much can, like, a human lift?
Yeah.
Even if you got 100 men, you can't lift, like, a fucking 10-ton block. Like,
yeah.
It's not like everyone can just be like, all right, go.
Yeah,
like, that shit was just not practical.
And, like, have them
they must have had, like, pulleys and... What do they call it? Yeah, pulleys, right? Like, lifting them up and stuff. Like, that's the only way I could think of, like, how are you going to lift something that big?
It's
wild. And then stack it on itself.
And if I were to give a multiple choice, if someone were to give me, like, an ABC multiple choice, like, aliens, there was a civilization before that taught them, or just natural human progression, I'd probably choose natural human progression.
Yeah.
But I think to shun away other things is
fun to think about.
It's boring, first of all, to shun away other things, because it could be such an interesting world we live in. And it is an interesting world we live in, so to look at it is fun, which is probably why you go to Iceland and you want to check out some more of the U.S. And I want to go to Ireland, which is like...
It's funny about Iceland is it was actually like one of the last places to ever be like touched by humans.
Like, that's cool too. Like,
I think it's second after New Zealand. So like Iceland, I think there was
young. That young.
Well, it's not like young, but like no humans were there up until like at least like the 1100s or something.
Really?
There was no humans there. Wow. Iceland's the same way. I think the first human ever to step foot on Iceland was like in the 900s or something. Wow. Or 800s. So like that's relatively recent considering like...
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it's very recent.
Yeah.
Especially when you think of like long, like I was watching Neil deGrasse Tyson talk the other day, and he was saying like how we know how fast everything's growing, and it's based on how fast it, like how far away light is and how fast it reaches us.
Right.
And like like every day we're seeing new things on like our telescopes, and it's just like new things that we've never seen before get here after billions of years.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Like, it's still growing. Like, we're like the universe is growing like as it speaks. So if it's growing, it can't be infinite though, you know?
Do you believe in like the simulation theory?
I mean, it's more and more possible every day. Every day.
Honestly, I don't know if I'm like a diehard believer, but like if I had like you were saying, like a multiple choice, I had to pick one. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, like is it the Christian God or is it like the Buddha or freaking Allah or are we living in a simulation? I think that's our best bet.
Yeah, I think it's the best bet for sure. Like, I mean, aside from like just
like all those books and stuff.
Coincidence.
I'm not gonna hate on religion, but like I don't know. Like I'm not gonna put my faith in.
Yeah.
It was all written by humans, dude.
For me, it's all metaphor. Like,
yeah, like there's good lessons.
Read it the right way,
I'm not gonna hate on like the messaging, beautiful. But the actual like stuff they're claiming that happened, like Japanese, dude.
Japanese. They're speaking Japanese.
They're speaking Japanese.
Well. If you think about it in metaphor, it
really is. You know, like Noah's flood or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say with the whole thing.
Okay, so the Bronze Age collapse, like back in the day, like there was these, even like before like Athens and Sparta, you used to think of like the ancient Greeks. There was this civilization called the Minoans. Okay, and they were like the original Greeks, and like they were completely like ethnically separate from like the later Greeks who came on. And they had this like bustling like Mediterranean like trade network and stuff. They were trading with people in Israel or in Egypt and stuff. You know what I mean? Like those areas, like they pretty just like were sailing around the Mediterranean, relatively advanced for their time. And something happened. Like, we don't know because there's no records because, like, everything was fucked up. But, like somehow, like, all these civilizations, not just the Minoans, but also, like, you might have heard of, like, the Babylonians and the Assyrians, right?
Yeah.
Like, those, like, the OG civilizations, some of the first, like...
The OGs.
Yeah, like, the Indus Valley civilization, like, near India and stuff. Like, all those, like, civilizations had, like, a... basically collapse in, like, infrastructure and, like, communication. And we don't really know the sole reason for it, but, like, yeah, there's a bunch of theories, like, there was a massive flood, and that was kind of, like, people think, like, that was the inspiration for, like, Noah's flood, like, later down the line.
Yeah.
Like, when they were...
And not just Noah's flood, I think in, like, Noah's Ark and stuff like that, but in all, like, religions, there's talk of, like, a massive flood. Or, like,
especially in that area, too, like,
yeah.
in the Middle East, like, what would you call that now? Like, the Mediterranean stuff, like, a lot of, like, the stories and stuff, like, have overlap. Like, I don't think any one of them is, like, the truth, but, like, it's cool to think about that, like, there might have actually been, like, some massive, you know, flood, like, back in the day that actually, like, was, like, remembered and, like,
written down, like, this
written down,
gods, like,
whatever. Like, they each had their own reason for it, but, like,
that's really, and I like even, like, the Greek gods and stuff like that, too. Like, those are really cool. I could go on forever with the Greek gods, but I think we're at, like, an hour and a half, my G.
All right, that was a good talk, dude.
That was a very good talk.
Yeah,
I feel like we're rolling.
All gas, no brakes, right there.
All gas, no brakes, much like that band.
Yeah, big time.
All right, well, Brandon, this was an absolute pleasure.
Bring it up,
Bring it up. Let people see it. Absolutely. Yeah, absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on, my man.
Appreciate it.